Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to evening devotion. I actually did nothing today, just go run errands, couple of little errands, come back and just gonna relax today. I don't really celebrate my birthday. I turned 41 in Iraq, and that was not fun. So I didn't make a big deal about it at all. Matter of fact, I kept it so secret that none of the guys figured it out until almost a month later. They're like, "Why didn't you say something?" I was like, "We got enough going on. Didn't make no big deal about that." But they kind of got me back when we got back, and we had the regimental ball, and that was a blast. I was very hungover, but you know what? It was fun. It's probably top five most fun that I've had. If you're ever in a cav unit in a regimental ball, and you understand, if you're military and listening, you understand. It's really it really was a lot of fun. Everybody was real cool. Everybody was real nice, and we were out almost all night. It was a blast. Even my wife had fun. It was enough fun. We went back a couple months later on a weekend, just hung out. There was one particular bar there, Coyote Ugly, and everybody was super nice. Even the bouncer was super nice. And so we went in and we just sat outside on the back area. We were by ourselves, and we just sat out there, had some whiskey and coke, and just talked and watched, just hung out. And the amount of people causing problems was wild. And even the bouncer came around. He sat and he started talking to us. He's like, "Hey," he goes, "You guys are awesome. Y'all just sit here and chill and everything." I'm like, "Yeah, we walked around. We didn't want to go anywhere busy. We just wanted to hang out." And we just hung out, and they sat. Some of the waitresses came out, sat and talked with us. It was a lot of fun. But all that stuff is behind me. I don't celebrate much. Just like the holidays, most holidays, I don't really do anything. I might cook. That's about it. Because after being in Iraq and then being away from home that time, it really took a lot away from those things, those events and those holidays. And like I said, most of the time I might cook, and that's about it. But I cook all the time, so we really don't do much anymore. And I don't know how these guys feel about it, but I don't have the energy anymore. I mean, I was like huge on hanging up Christmas lights and all that. I don't do that. I just don't have the energy for it. I don't have the energy to keep up with it. And a lot of it too comes from the past when I tried and tried and tried. Nobody else didn't seem like they appreciated it. And so I'm just at the point now where it's just like simple pleasures, simple things. I don't need complicated stuff anymore. And maybe it's some of it's being a Christian too. I don't know if that's had an effect on it, but I will go out of my way to make things cool for someone else. I don't really care for myself. I'm happy just rolling along quietly, being basically invisible to everybody, and do some little things to make people happy and get them on their way. My big focus is Elaine right now because she's not getting much sleep during the day. She might get 6 hours, but she's working 12-hour shifts at night. I really do not like her driving that far, being that tired, working a night shift. I want her on days, but I guess we're gonna have to wait a little while. She's put out the feelers out, so we'll see. But it'd be great if she could be closer to home. Then it wouldn't be so much of a drive. It's an hour drive both ways, so we'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much all I do. I don't really. I mean, I'm a little over half a century old now, so birthdays kind of cease to become important when you hit a certain age. Most people, it's about 50. They call that over the hill, and they say that from the 100-year life, and you're over the middle of it. So I more importantly, I'm watching for the rapture. I'm watching for the Lord to return. As a side note, I have seen several videos pop up. I have not watched them, of people digging into the scriptures and finding more things to prove the pre-trib rapture, and coming out and talking about it. Nina did send me a video that was Tyler Generation 2434 and JD Farag. He had him on his podcast, and they were talking about that, and they were sharing different things, and that was pretty good. Encouraging the church, encouraging the brethren. And JD was surprised. And I think a lot of pastors would be surprised that when they're big on telling people, hey, you need to be in the church, you need to find a good church and all that. But then when they see how many people are watching them online and they're preaching, and they're really shocked by it. Billy Crone, he started a complete online church I think he's broke away from Get a Life Media and is starting this separate thing. And he says, this is going to be my deal. We're starting and they've been planning it for years. We're starting an online church. It is 100% online for the church because there is no real place for anybody to come together. And he said it's going to be like normal church. But like JD was surprised, there was 2,200 people watching. And a lot of pastors are surprised. Alistair Begg, Truth for Life. That's why they have the daily videos, because that happened. They even do the daily devotions too. It's a little different, quite a bit different than what I do. But they do that too, because they realize there is an online presence that needs to be filled. Because right now it's primarily being filled with false doctrine and lies. But there are people out there that either can't find a church, can't travel to a church because they may be homebound or something like that, or have been really burned and hurt by going to a church and are really shy about doing that. It's not that they don't want to go. They just don't want to put up with the nonsense. They don't want to be treated badly. They don't want to, be at the receiving end of all these groups and cliques and these special little separatist groups that talk about everybody and try to cause problems. They were doing that at my last church, and especially the elder. And I told the pastor, I was like, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what his problem is. I don't know why he has targeted me and my wife, but I don't need to come here. I come here because I enjoy y'all's company and I enjoy the preaching. I don't need to be here. I can find another church easy. There's no reason for me to come here, and there's no reason for me to come and help and offer, my time to help with this. I can leave. I'm perfectly. He goes, no. And I was like, well, if he keeps up, I'm out of here. Because I'm not going to come to a church and fellowship and then have to put up with bullying and that kind of nonsense. I said, I've been keeping myself quiet, not saying anything, because I don't want to cause problems, but I got to say something now. And my wife was standing there and she witnessed it. And she says, yeah, she goes, I really don't want to come anymore because of this. And then she stopped coming. And he asked me about it, and I told him why. And I said, she don't want to deal with that. I said, I'll give you the names of the people that are doing these things and causing the problems. And I did. I said, it's nonsense. And then everything fell apart after the trip to Israel they took anyway. They came back different. I don't know. It was weird. But the whole online thing is really becoming a thing. And they're realizing, okay, you were just scratching at the door to go out. Are you going to go out or not? Go on. Get out there. I put a revolving door in here. So, They're really coming to the conclusion that this is something that needs to happen. They need to make this online thing. And I agree. And I think that's part of the reason why so many of us, like what I do, what some of the other guys do, they're actually pastors that are focusing on. There's several of them where they broadcast the entire church service. Because we realize there is an online out there. There's an online group out there that need to hear these things, but they can't find it where they're at. And I remember Jan in 2019. I'm sorry, I'm way off the devotion here, but I remember Jan in 2019 talking about a lady had emailed her and said, I've been to 3 different countries over 30 years. And it took me moving to 3 different countries to finally find a church that preaches the truth, preaches the gospel, supports Israel, preaches the prophecy, talks about prophecy. 3 different, she's over in Europe, 3 different countries over 30 years to find one. And if I remember correctly, I think just last year or the year before, Jan said that gal emailed her and said that church went down too. She had to leave it. A lot of people are having to leave churches. Oh no. Gotta bark. Go bark. Go get him. Oh, my neighbor's leaving. they realize that people need it. There's a whole cross section to use a term that a lot of them use. There's a whole remnant that needs help. I mean, we can read the Bible, but we don't get fed because of what's happening. It's crazy. So I'm glad to see, and here's the thing. Sorry, I'm on my soapbox a little bit. Here's the thing, and this is just my commentary. They're right. It is good for us to find a church. I'm going to say this, and then we're going to get in the devotion. It is good to find a church. If you can find a good church, praise God. Stay with them. A church that teaches the truth. Now, the congregation might be another story, but if you can find a church that teaches the truth, stay there. Support that church. Because the church, as a organization, you might say, was brought together to be a lifeline to believers. For some of them, that was the only source of truth they had. Go back 2,000 years. They had to meet underground. They've actually found some of those underground churches, by the way. One of them was in Israel. They found it by accident. It was full of trash. When they went down there, cleaned it out, realized there's a whole, like a house under here. But it was a church that the Christians dug underground. And they went in there and they proved it. This is a Christian church. It's an underground Christian church. So for some people, that's all they had. It's one of the reasons why the apostles traveled so much. They were going to these little home churches, these little groups, and helping them. How funny. And again, this is just my observation. How funny. It's almost like it's returned to that exactly the same now, because you post online to reach all those people out there that can't find a church, and it's a lifeline. The brethren are encouraged, strengthened, and built up, which is what the Lord told us to do as we see the day approaching. So I'm very privileged, and I feel very privileged and very humbled to be able to do what I do here. As little, I mean, really get very little attention, but I don't do this for that. And I don't get a ton of views, even though I have over 2,500 subscribers. I don't do this for that. I do this for the fact that the truth needs to get out there, and the Lord gave me this and said, go share this. Tell them to read the Bible. I'm very humbled and very privileged to be able to speak on behalf of His Word. And to be able to do this with you guys. And listen, I am not above anybody, because as I'm doing this, I'm learning too. I'm right there with everyone else. I am not advanced or ahead of anyone. And I like it that way. But I'm thankful that I get to do this. Channels come and go constantly. There's no real consistency with anything that they do. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to be as consistent as possible. And I made the decision, and I talked to the Lord about this. If you want me to do this, then show me what to do so it's consistent and it helps and it's a blessing, and I don't go anywhere. I stay. And here I am. Over 7 years later. I'm really glad to be able to do this. And it really is, this is the highlight of my day, is to do these videos. So anyway, getting way off topic here. Let's get into the devotion. Job 14:14. All the days of my appointed time will I wait. This is patience, brothers and sisters. This is patience. A lot of people, and I've seen their comments. I've even seen it in videos that they've talked about. I'm not waiting. If the Lord doesn't come on this time, I'm not looking. I'm not watching anymore. I'm not waiting anymore. Okay, what else are you going to do? Just live your normal life like you have been? Well, okay, you can still wait. But more importantly, Jesus Christ is worth waiting for. Why would you give up watching? He's worth watching for. He's worthy of our attention and our love. So why would we not wait for him? If a man dies, shall he live again? Not in his physical state until the day of redemption comes, but yeah, in a sense. All the days of my hard service, the life that we have, I will wait till my change comes. Job knew about the resurrection. I don't even know if that had been talked about at this time. Let's go up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's start in verse 7. For there is hope for a tree, if it is cut down, that it will sprout again, and that its tender shoots will not cease. This is the truth. Cut a tree down, a green tree down, you'll see shoots come out. It'll start growing again. Though its root may grow old in the earth, and its stump may die in the ground, yet at the scent of water it will bud and bring forth branches like a plant. But man dies and is laid away. Indeed, he breathes his last, and where is he? As water disappears from the sea, and a river becomes parched and dries up, so man lies down and does not rise, till the heavens are no more. Listen to what he's saying here. This man knows prophecy before prophecy was ever really written. It sounds like he's reading from the book of Revelation almost. Till the heavens are no more, they will not awake nor be roused from their sleep. What is he talking about here? Now consider this. There's 2 resurrections. There's a resurrection, the first one, that's going to happen at the rapture. The dead in Christ will rise. There's another resurrection after that where the white throne judgment. There's a big resurrection there. That's for final judgment. But there's some places in the Bible that seem to indicate, and other people have shared this. Michael Pearl talks about this in a lot of his videos, actually, at the door. There's another resurrection. And that's for everybody that was before Christ. Kind of interesting. There's a lot more to the story, but clearly Job knew about these things. He knew what was happening. Till the heavens are no more. When are we going to have a new heavens and a new earth? Just saying. Job knew about it. Oh, that you would hide me in the grave, that you would conceal me until your wrath is past, that you would appoint me a set time and remember me. And the Lord has actually done that. Job knew. He knew. If he knew, we should know. If a man dies, shall he live again? All the days of my hard service, I will wait till my change comes. Change to a new body. You shall call, and I will answer you. You shall desire the work of your hands. For now you number my steps, but do not watch over my sin. My transgression is sealed up in a bag, and you cover my iniquity. But as a mountain falls and crumbles away, and as a rock is moved from its place, as water wears away stones, and as torrents wash away the soil of the earth, so you destroy the hope of man. You prevail forever against him, and he passes on. You change his countenance and send him away. His sons come to honor, and he does not know it. They are brought low, and he does not perceive it. But his flesh will be in pain over it, and his soul will mourn over it. So that last part there, Job was despondent, and he was voicing how he felt. But here's the thing. The Lord doesn't blast our hope away. He gives us hope. He's given us great hope. A little stay on earth will make heaven more heavenly. It's one of the reasons why we aren't taken at the moment of salvation. God. What are you barking at? Somebody, Amazon truck. They always bark at the Amazon truck. Always bark at the Amazon truck. I have no clue why. All right, come on here, cool off. It's muggy out there. All right, calm down. Relax, guys, relax. Hi, go get a drink of water. A little stay on earth will make heaven more heavenly. Nothing makes rest so sweet as toil. Nothing renders security so pleasant as exposed to alarms. You learn to appreciate those things more. Come on. You learn to appreciate those things more when you have to endure the troubles to get you there. You know, the destination isn't the enjoyment. of a trip, it's the trip there. The destination is the reward. So there's toil and trouble to prepare for a trip. Then you have the trip. That's the adventure. Then the destination. That's the reward for all the work. We're doing that right now, literally. So how amazing that if you've ever taken a trip or family trip or whatever, you got all the preparation, then you got the travel, then you got the destination. And it's almost identical to our life here. The bitter quassia cups of earth will give a relish to the new wine which sparkles in the golden bowls of glory. Wait until we get there. Wait till we get there. Turn around there. There you go, buddy. Our battered armor and scarred countenances will render more illustrious our victory above when we are welcomed to the seats of those who have overcome the world. It's funny, we're already seated in heavenly places spiritually. There's a day coming when it'll be physical. You can't go there in this body. This body has to be changed first. That's the day of redemption. We should not have full fellowship with Christ if we did not, for a while, sojourn below. For he was baptized with a baptism of suffering among men, and we must be baptized with the same if we would share his kingdom. Just saying. Thief on the cross did. Again, we have him as an example. A lot of people go on and on about this. I saw videos, people contrary, and you can't use a thief on the cross as an excuse. Really? Well, in this case, we can again, because he was under that toil after belief. And he suffered exactly the same as Christ did, because he was on the cross next to him and resides in heaven with him. Wait till we see him. You can ask him, at what moment did you realize that he was the Christ? What revealed that to you? And then he'll tell you. How many of the people you think are going to come running up to us and say, hey, what was it like being there when the Lord woke you up and you started to realize all those things that the Bible was telling us were coming true in your vision? That you were living in that time, a time we were watching for, a time we wanted to see and couldn't. What do you think they're going to? They may come run up and ask us, what was that like to be there? You got some time? I got eternity. Tell me all about it. And you sit down and tell them. Let me tell you stories. It was crazy. And when we compare notes, we're going to realize the people from the beginning, the people in the middle, and all of us here at the end are all going to be pretty much on the same page. Because the Lord's in control. Fellowship with Christ is so honorable that the sorest sorrow is a light price by which to procure it. 1 minute with Jesus Christ will wipe out a lifetime of troubles. 1 hour in heaven, and you will not be able to restrain yourself from proclaiming, why did I ever worry? Why did I ever fear? Another reason for our lingering here is for the good of others. This is probably the biggest bulk of the blessing. Not so much for us, but for them. Now, this works out a greater salvation for us staying here and enduring the rest of this life in whatever condition we're in and whatever situations we're in. But the bigger part of the blessing is for the world around us. That's why when the Lord comes and takes us, and again, I think this may be one of the reasons why we're all spread out and scattered. Some of us are in little pockets here and there, but most of us are spread out and scattered everywhere. 1 in this household, 2 in that household. And most of us don't even know each other and can't find each other. Because when we're gone, it'll have a greater impact on those left behind. And they're going to go, wow, they were right here and I didn't hear them. Well, I'm going to listen to them now. I'm going to remember what they say, and I'm going to tell others if I can, and then they'll come to faith. Again, I think these are part of the reasons for this. Another reason for our lingering here is for the good of others. We would not wish to enter heaven till our work is done, and it may be that we are yet ordained to minister light to souls benighted in the wilderness of sin. You don't know when the Lord is going to use you. I had this conversation with my dad for years. because he felt like I would like the Lord to use me. I said, you never know when, he's not done with you. You never know when he'll use you again. And he did multiple times before my dad died. Multiple times. Our prolonged stay here is doubtless for God's glory. Amen. A tried saint, like a well-cut diamond, glitters much in the king's crown. Nothing reflects so much honor on a workman as a protracted and severe trial of his work and its triumphant endurance of the ordeal without giving way in any part. We have to hang on. We are God's workmanship, in whom he will be glorified by our afflictions. You don't think God was glorified in the afflictions of Christ? How much more in us? And not just for him, but for Christ also. So God was glorified in the afflictions of Christ. Christ is glorified in our afflictions, and so is the Father, because it's through Christ. How you handle this, how you approach this, how you address this makes a big difference. Again, motivation of the heart. The Lord weighs the intents of the heart. It is for the honor of Jesus that we endure the trial of our faith with sacred joy. That's the joy inexpressible. You have joy even though you don't feel like you have joy. You say, I'm in a terrible situation, but for some reason I feel content. That's God. Let each man surrender his own longings to the glory of Jesus and feel, if my lying in the dust would elevate my Lord by so much as an inch, let me still lie among the pots of earth. If to live on earth forever would make my Lord more glorious, and there was a certain interaction and a conversation that happened in the New Testament about that particular subject. There is a guy over there in Israel now, an old wild hair, white hair guy. A lot of people online are saying he's one of the apostles. I don't think he is. Because looking at the society today, I don't think any of them would even come out. They would stay hidden. But anyway. If to live on earth forever would make my Lord more glorious, it should be my heaven to be shut out of heaven. Our time is fixed and settled by eternal decree. Let us not be anxious about it, but wait with patience till the gates of pearl shall open. And that's the whole crux of it all. Let's reverse back to Job. We started in Job. So that's a big book. Job did a lot of complaining in that book. But you know the one thing he didn't do in all of that conversation, the one thing he did not do is deny God or turn away from him. And we just read, he decided, I'm going to wait on my Lord. I'm in a bad situation. I lost my entire family. I lost my entire household. I lost my entire everything. I lost everything. I have nothing but the skin on my back and the sores to prove it. I have nothing. And then I got 3 friends harass me at the same time. I'm going to wait on the Lord even through this. And he did. That's faith. He showed incredible faith. And it may be why the Lord honored him the way that he did. Because he didn't give up. He held on. That's amazing to me. That through all that, okay. Ask yourself this question and answer it honestly. If you went through all that, could you still hang on for the Lord? I would like to think that I would, because I look at my life and what I've been through, and it wasn't exactly what he'd been through, but I've been through a lot. I think I would. Before, maybe not. Now, yes. But then again, if I go back during that 20-year gap there, after I got saved, where I was wandering everywhere, I never let go. I hung on. And it wasn't because of me, it was because of him. He made me to hang on. So maybe I could have. But you know what? Because I'm a human and because I'm weak, I might have fallen too. So I can't answer that question fully one way or the other. Chances are pretty good I probably would have fallen. Job didn't. He had his eyes on the Lord the whole time. I will wait for the Lord. You and I, as the church, as the children of the Most High God, we need to wait on the Lord. There should be nothing that should happen that should stop us from watching for him. If nothing else can come in between him and us, we should not be able and should never even think about letting anything else come between us and him. So hang on, brothers and sisters. Don't let go. Don't look away. Don't give up. Don't throw your hands up in the air and say, that's it. Our Lord is worth waiting for. Jesus Christ, you are worth us waiting for. You are worthy of our attention. You're worthy of our love. We should be hanging on. And now we're all going to hang on in pain and struggles and suffering. You know that for each and every one of us. But Lord, make us to hang on and not give up. Make us to be encouraged. Whether it's by me, whether it's by someone else, whether it's by ourselves, make us be encouraged. And to stand strong, not give up. To learn from people like Job who hung on, who were weak in the flesh, just like the rest of us. Suffered, was a man of like passions, but hung on. May we hang on too, especially now. Very important statement you made. Will I find faith when I come to the earth? I pray you find faith. I pray you find some strong faith. I pray you, when you come, you catch us doing what you've given us to do. You find us in the act of being faithful, watching and waiting for you eagerly, looking for your return. So when the time comes and we stand in glory, we can say, I held on. Because of the strength of my Lord, I held on. Because of him and his grace and his mercy, I held on. Lord, make us to hold on for your glory and to the praise and honor of your holy name. Thank you all for joining me for evening devotion. Be encouraged, brethren. Stay strong, brethren. Don't give up, brethren. He's worth it. And when he comes, we will come to the full realization of that. I love you all very much. I bless you all in Jesus' name, and I'll see you in the next video.